Above all else, there is one protocol that the human condition will always attempt to maintain. Survive. Mind, body, and soul doing its part to keep this primal instinct active, to keep us alive. The mind, in particular, has its ways of ensuring that we stay aware, awake, alive. In times of crisis or in times of boredom, our minds develops scenarios which allows us to ruminate on, either to find success in an event that has yet come to be, or just to distract from painful memories of recent failures. But the mind is not immune to failure. When it begins to fail, it brings us scenarios that can keep a man up at night. Sometimes it can cause us to get caught up in a loop, replaying over and over and over again. Depression to the mind is a make or break moment for the psyche. It presents a threat to our survival, so the mind must find a way to defend itself from depression's icy, rotted grip. A way that the mind fights against depression is through mental conquest, forming a positive end to an overall horrible mental scenario. But if this tactic is used too many times, you'll soon begin to romanticize depression. Soon, the positive end is phased out, and all that's left is depressing thoughts and scenarios that allows us to wallow in. A form of depression that becomes comforting. A type of rot that breaks the mind and eats a person from within. All the while the individual is fully aware, but chooses not to do anything about it. This romanticizing of depression is perfectly captured by Tim Burton's short film, Vincent. A stop-motion short film about a boy who wants to be like a mad scientist, even if this mad scientist is haunted by his actions and wife from beyond the grave. This 6-minute-long short illustrates the consequences of dwelling in depressive fantasies, where fiction blurs with reality, creating a level of uncertainty that will drive any man mad. We are introduced to a boy named Vincent Malloy, an overall good-standing kid that plays nice with his sibling and gets along with his relatives. Nothing wrong so far with this kid, but things start to get spooky when we learn who he aspires to be. While other kids want to be the next Jake Paul, Paul Rubert, Paul from the movie Paul, Vincent wants to be just like Vincent Price. Vincent Price, a twisted scientist that devotes his time doing horrible, ghoulish things to satisfy his sick, grotesque fantasies. We could sit here and theorize why a boy would dream of being an evil mad scientist like Vincent Price. But that's not why we're here. But if you ask me, the kid is shaping up to be the next Jeffrey Dahmer.
We're gonna hang out, gonna watch a movie, gonna take some pictures, and then I'll pay you.
While Vincent pretends to be Vincent Price, we learn that he would like to dunk his aunt in wax for his wax figure collection. He transformed his dog into an undead killing machine. He reads literature from Edgar Allan Poe, and he has a dead wife that he buried alive. While the narrator, who ironically is Vincent Price, tells us the things the boy does or would like to do as Vincent Price, the narrator also tells us something that is more strange than wanting to dip his aunt into wax. Vincent is haunted, tormented, depressed. Vincent Malloy, for some reason, enjoys pretending to be gloomy and saddened as he plays Vincent Price. He wants to be alone and harassed by sadness as he walks through dark hallways. He goes digging through his mother's flower bed in the hopes that his supposed wife still remains in her grave that Vincent last left her, still alive and clawing for an escape. He finds himself weak, and unable to speak due to his supposed years of being isolated, and finally finding himself unable to get up from the ground because of all the horrific and bloody deeds grasping at him like hungry hyenas. Now this is what we want to look at. The part is played well, the fantasy created to entertain the mind, but this aspect of reveling in these dark and gloomy moods have overstayed their welcome. We could honestly not worry about Vincent wanting to be a mad scientist. Simple child's play. But the active rehearsal of depression that leads to legitimate effects on his body and mind, now that's something that should raise alarms. His roleplay of being so distraught of sins he never committed has such a powerful trance on him that it makes him physically weak. The delusion becomes too strong that it bleeds into reality. Vincent would rather stay inside, isolated, in the dark, than to play outside on a beautiful day. Vincent's illusions of his dead wife were getting out of hand, where Vincent's mother had to step and try to snap out his self-mutilation of the mind, reminding him of who he truly is and who he is not. Importantly, telling Vincent he is not possessed. Does it work? Sadly not, since in the very end, poor little Vincent falls to the ground, too weak to get back up. Rising up again, nevermore. For those of us who find ourselves in a depressive pit, do we not find ourselves pacing back and forth with scenarios that only serve us to become more depressed? It's comforting. It is a certainty in an uncertain reality. It's poison for the mind and soul. We dance with depression for some sort of satisfaction, either from putting ourselves down only to lift ourselves up, or because it gives us a reason, a justification to be depressed. We subconsciously fall in love with depression because it gives us an outlet to express emotions that are oftentimes bottled up. Like Vincent, we scratch at the wounds found in our brains for the hell of it. We think there's a net positive to this. Romanticizing depression sates the starving mind, softens the blow of the depressive reality we find ourselves in. But like Vincent, if we wallow too long in our own sadness, we won't be able to get back up. Our own love for ripping at our own flesh allows for rot to seep in, causing our own will to live to degrade. Vincent is a warning to those who call depression their ally. It shows us that what will happen when this twisted love story of self-imposed depression collides with a genuine condition of depression. It will take much from you. Taking and taking and taking, before long you have nothing to give. Hope is lost, and soon, so will be your life. The human condition's primary objective is survival. Romanticizing depression jeopardizes this core, this primary objective. Despite its best efforts, the mind, if not contested, will eat itself until you are left with a hollow mind, too weak to fight, too frail to move. The very thing that we call friend is killing us. Self-sabotage becoming optimal in a degraded mind, a mind that once sought to keep you alive and healthy. If we are not careful in falling for the trap of romanticizing depression, we'll find ourselves like poor little Vincent Malloy, too weak to get back up, his soul lifted nevermore.